Hi, my name's Ashley Dossie. I'm your child's World History Honors teacher for this school year. Um, First off, congratulations that your child got into World History Honors because it is a difficult course to get into, and your students are absolutely the top of the top. They are all amazing, and I am super excited to teach this class. Um, just a little background on the class. It's an elective for advanced students interested in history. It is a high school course, and your student will get high school credit for this course. There's no EOC testing for the course, so they just automatically get the grade. They will have the opportunity to take the Advanced Placement AP exam for World History in the spring for college credit, but is absolutely not required. If your child is interested in that, I will have more information on taking that test in the spring. Um, World history is designed to guide students from the early BCEs into the modern era, and students will examine several readings, maps, and other materials to develop critical thinking and analytical skills. Literary reading and writing are also major components of this class, so they'll be doing a ton of reading and writing throughout, which I think they've already discovered based on the amount of primary sources we've gone through and secondary sources and the amount of writing that they've already had to do just in a few short weeks. The units that we're studying, we study a unit that goes from prehistory to 600 BC, technological and environmental transformations. So that's our prehistory unit and early civilization unit. We also study a unit that goes from 600 to 600, organization and reorganization of human societies, then from 600 to 1450, regional and transregional interactions, 1750 to 1900, industrialization and global integration, and 1900 to present, accelerating global change and realignment. So we literally cover all of world history. So it's a very large course. We tend to break it up, as you can see, by year, and we also break it up into different themes to help the students understand it. Grading. The students are graded based on tests and quizzes. There's a major test at the end of every unit. There may be shorter quizzes during the units depending on the unit. There wasn't for this one because it was a shorter unit. They just finished the 206 to 600 BC. They'll be taking a test on Thursday on technological and environmental transformation. So basically on prehistory and on early civilizations. So there was no quiz for that unit. There's just a test. Bell ringer checks. They do bell ringer checks every time they come into the classroom, and they need to make sure to keep up with them. It's the same thing for Louisiana history as it is for world history. They will have makeup bell ringers if they're absent. That will always be updated. Participation, they are required to participate in class. They're required to participate in group discussions, group work, etc. I do keep track of their participation, that they are on topic, that they are actually discussing with their group mates. Sorry. Sometimes we do whole class participation grades. Writing, they complete several writing assignments each unit. It prepares them for document-based question essays, comparison essay writing, and change in continuity essay writing. Writing is both in class and for homework. It just depends on what we have to get done. Right now, we're just focusing on document-based question essays, trying to get them fully prepared for that. We'll probably work on comparison and change in continuity next semester. And that'll be more prep for the AP exam than it would be for just the class in general, because those two essays are mainly focused on the AP exam. But like I said, your child does not have to take the AP exam. More grading. Reading assignments. They complete a lot of reading assignments in class, but they're also responsible for reading one book every 9 weeks and completing a book review on it. For the second 9 weeks, it's going to be 2 books, since they had already picked out books for the first 9 weeks, and your student does have the date for those written down. One's due in early November, one's due in I think mid-December. There's a rubric provided for these reviews, and they're just to try to give these reading assignments, or to try to give them a broader perspective of world history, and also maybe teach them about a topic that they don't know a lot about. We discussed a lot about how they should choose books that maybe they don't have as firm a grasp on, because the whole point of world history is to try to learn as much as you possibly can about the world. So there are those reading assignments that are outside of class, but like I said, we do have reading assignments in class. We have many, many, many that we do in class, and they do primarily discussion based, where they'll talk about these different reading assignments with each other, and then maybe they'll write about them. They also complete several projects. In fact, most of our units are project based, so they'll be mostly doing projects on it. Like, for example, the River Valley Civilizations, they each presented on their own River Valley or early civilization. They usually have time to complete the project in its entirety in class, but sometimes they might be required to work on it a little bit at home for homework. And then I actually have had several of these students asking me to do it for homework, so they would rather do it for homework, which is fine with me if they can fit that in. But we'll just discuss that as a class and do what we decide is the best possible solution for the class. Of course, plagiarism is never tolerated. It will result in a 0, and late assignments are 10% off per day. Here's my contact information. My name is Ashley Dawsey. Once again, my email is adawsey@ebrschools.org. My class website is dawseyhistory.weebly.com, and I am going to show you a little bit of that in just a second because it's always up to date with homework projects and what we're doing in class. And they will have, as soon as we get the Chromebooks set up and ready to go, they will have a Google Classroom page that will help them too. But just to give you an overview of my website, it does have, so it'll have a link to Glasgow's website. It'll have a contact me page where you can reach me. It has a Google Classroom page. Once I get their textbook login set up, I'll have that information in this page over here, and I'll have it on the Google Classroom website too. Their homework is under the homework page. So you can see right now they need to have a higher order thinking question from their classmates' spice projects answered. This I just wanted them to reflect on their own. They don't have to turn that in. And then you can see their multiple choice and writing assessment is September 29th. And then I have a ton of study materials under this world history section. So I have a study guide for them here. I have a prehistory PowerPoint. This was the spice project sheet that they did, so they can see the rubric for what that project was. I have all of their student spice projects up here. Some of the students had their questions separate from their project, which is fine. I have some resources here, all of the McGraw-Hill PowerPoints. These are AP practice exam questions. This is good tips for writing a document-based question that we watched in class that the students asked if I could post. Here's some rubrics for document-based essays, and I think it has the comparative essay and the change over time essay in it as well. So this website is a really, really good resource for them to use, and I absolutely recommend that they do use it. Once again, this is my email address, adawsey@ebrschools.org. Please email me if you have any questions or comments or concerns, or write them down and just leave them on my desk, and I will get to them. If you leave me a contact number or an email address that you want me to contact you at, I will get to that as soon as I possibly can, Wednesday morning or Wednesday afternoon. Thank you so much for giving me your time, and have a great night.